Brother hustle, so your money can double. If you not hustle, we go use your teeth for butter. They don't know my story, but they want your glory. They don't know my story, but they want your glory. Call, if you got problems, don't call me.
Yeah, man.
Cause I can't support, but you can.
Listen, share the link for me. It is election day in Liberia. And listen to me, man. We're making it happen. So share the link. We're gonna have fun here tonight.
But you can.
One shot for the Liberian people. Inside.
I love it.
Not joking here.
I love it.
Share the link, share the link, share the link.
I love it. I love it.
Now let's go ahead and talk tonight. We have
Smaneke ile friend mene you know yeah. Smane na besti to you.
What's up, my people? What's going on? We on it. We're outside here tonight. Share the link for me. We're the Unity Party partisans. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. I'll probably do an hour, 30 minutes tonight. But let's go ahead and share the link and get more people on. Let's do what we got to do. Making it happen tonight. We're talking.
No condition payment. Also that what you offering.
No condition is permanent. That's true. That is a fact. This is your boy Duke Strider JJ. Y'all know what's up. I'm all about the business. So let's continue to share the link and do what we got to do.
Yeah. We are bestie to you, but
we'll show you that teeth and I'll let you. You know where you fly, Tato can press you. How you say the cab, nasty boy, you a pilot, you are the step. Everybody want to spot, but the did I drop, you know I can press fly.
Let's make it happen. Share the link.
What in my bush she say Ray, she can stem you up, too low, don't call me a
Liberian.com.
Munda, welcome back.
The more severe the crime, the more severe the punishment. Hundreds of the younger ones and even males are being victimized from a deadly epidemic called rape. Justice must be served. Our voices must be heard. Sita, don't apologize. We have been torn apart.
Yeah, man. So if you're following, share the link, man. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Find a friend like me.
Find a friend like me. If you not want betrayal,
find a friend like me.
Find a friend like me. Find a friend like me.
All right, let me share this link.
If you not want betrayal, find a friend like me.
Bombe oh,
find a friend like me.
Bombe jene oh, find a friend like me. Find a friend like me.
Joseph Kamara, what's up?
Find a friend
like me. Nati Don Bosco, what's up? Share the link.
Your bestie not sweet like my bestie. Your bestie
la,
la
la, la. Find a friend like me.
I say, see bestie wanting to happy. Find a friend like me. I say they want me go.
They want me go. I say,
Some of them say they want me go.
They want me go. I say,
Some friends
Oh,
some friends oh,
some French in them, I tell you, my people, are not easy. Some French in them, when you disagree on issues and stuff, then they show their true colors.
Your bestie not sweet like my bestie. Your bestie la bestie.
Find a friend like me.
See bestie wanting to happy. Find a friend like me.
Listen, my people, let me tell you tonight in Zico. That means I feel pretty good. We're at the final stage, the final battle, where it is now the people versus George Weah. And tonight, that's what we're going to talk about. I'll probably be about an hour, 30 minutes, hopefully. I'll probably have my man Ben Sauer join me here tonight. And then we will see what we do.
They want me go.
I say,
They want me go. I say,
So fresh and oh wow. What a pronunciation. Yeah, man. That's how some friendships are. You know, some friendship that people can just, just show their true colors, right? That's how some friendships, friendship end up. But anyways, let me go ahead and send this link out here. As you all know, my name is Duke, and it has been an amazing journey, right? Leading up to this point. I think we now have an opportunity to allow the Liberian people to make that decision. And that's where we are. So tonight, I'm going to talk about a few things. But before I do that, I want to ask you, share the link for me. Let me send shout out to a few people. McKenna, what's up? Nate, what's up? I see my man Bill and Bob Blue Johnson, what's up? What it do, Carl? All of you share the link. Let's go. Let's make it happen. I want to have a conversation here tonight. So, tonight is about the main day. But before I say some things, I like to go back to get us to a point because it's very crucial that it's very important that we understand, how we got here. So if you see on the link, I just said, Fraudulent first round. In addition to that, I said, how did we get here? Agents within. Welcome to election day round 2, one shot for the Liberian people. So while you're sharing the link, while you're busy sharing the link to all the chat rooms, all the group, what the Unity Party partisans here, y'all got to come out tonight and let's have a conversation here because today is the day. Today is the day. It is the final battle. So let's start with the first one. It is evident that something happened during the first round. I was in Liberia, and I got to experience election day. But before I go into that, because I got a lot of G's here for y'all tonight, let me start with something important. So today, when I looked on social media, there was a live stream that was done by my brother Kev Hassan and a couple of my other brothers and big brothers and family and stuff from the closing argument. And the whole focus of that particular live was to put this message out there that, the part that was actually constructed. PHP Park, was part of the developmental agenda, and blah 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 blah. The rest of it, I get it, right? But I noticed that whenever they were talking about the park, they're usually there during the night. Why would they go there during the night? Because I know. I want to show you all this video, and I think it's important that you pay attention.
What was Akara's grade doing in this place? The place things through grade district here. What was Akara's grade doing in this place? The place things through
Yes.
grade district here.
So this is it. When I was in Liberia for the election, I had the opportunity to go around, and there's some videos of things that I have. And so I went with an open mind. I went with an open mind to visit this wonderful PHP park. So what you're seeing on my screen here is the actual video that I did from the PHP area. So this place is at the back of the executive mansion. This is a historic area. It is where those cabinet ministers got executed by Sambado during the coup that actually took the life of Tobin. So the concept here is that they were creating this space to be able to change the negatives that came with it, right? And they wanted to create a scenery that Liberians would be able to go to and actually admire. Now, I would say this. I like the concept. I like the view. There are a lot of things that can be done in that area. But the most disappointing part is that, and the reason why they won't show it in the day or show a certain part, if you look at it, there's only one angle that will show from that particular part. And that particular angle that they will show, from that part will be the part that does not really focus on this side. You see the barriers here. You see the beginning part from the PHP side, from the executive mansion side of the park. You see that it's completely, facing the Sonuan area. So for some of you who understand, you know what the Sonuan is. For some of you who don't know, is this place that's really filtered, but all the things that you see here, right? The what we call pool water. Let me just call it in Liberian English. So the pool water is flowing from the Sonuan in this area. What happens is when you go to the park, the smell is so bad. It is really bad. The smell is really, really bad in that area, right? Then the next question I asked the AFL officer that came that day that told me to leave, by the way, because when I welcome there, and whatever it is, I said, okay, fine. I didn't go there to make an argument and stuff. And he has a right to protect the grounds. I understand there's nothing wrong with it. So I asked him, I said, okay, well, I know the AFL is undertaking this project. I get it. But what was the concept? What was the mindset, right? Why is it that particular aspect of it was not taken into consideration? And he didn't really have an answer for it. He said, well, they'll try to figure it out, as they go. But clearly, that particular side of the park, as you see in this video,
what was Akara's grade doing?
And you see for yourself, it is bad. Like the smell is really bad. If you go there, the smell, and if you look down, this is just the front part I show you. But you can see straight down the Sonuan, you'll see a lot of stuff. You see pieces, you see a lot of different things over there, right? So that area is really not attractive, and I think that was a missed opportunity. And I don't know how they'll be able to solve it because this is a long-standing issue. This is not something that you woke up to overnight. This is something that's been around. But how do you address it is one thing we look forward to. I don't know, what the logic would be in fixing that particular issue, but it's going to cost a lot of money because you will look at, trying to connect everything there to make sure that the people have the septics actually being redirected to a different area as opposed to flow right down in the ocean there. So that's just something I wanted to highlight. I don't think it was fair enough in terms of what they were trying to put forth. It didn't really paint the kind of picture that they wanted to paint. And for me, I wanted to bring some sort of fair analysis. It's not a good look. It doesn't smell well. It is really bad. When you look in this area, it's really disgusting. And if you're there, you're trying to, let's say you want to bring restaurants or food stands or whatever it is, right? And you want to make it an area where people can go to, the smell, the odor, the optics, it doesn't really look well. And I think that was a missed opportunity there. Now, we move into the whole election thing, the fraudulent election. So let me come back here. So I had the opportunity to be in Liberia. I voted during the first round. I voted in Bond County. I drove for hours. I woke up early in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and we drove to Bond County. I stood in line for about 6.5 hours to be able to vote. Observation from the process, the voting process, it was, it was just, it was a little disorganized at the polling stations. There's so many things that were going on, but Liberians were determined. They were determined to make sure that the votes, were counted. Liberians were determined to make sure that they had done what was necessary to be able to make a statement. And I think for the most part, it happened. They did. The people came out to vote. The people were able to the people were able to vote. The people were able to, make a statement. In the morning, going and I have some videos. I've been saying this thing. I'll be able to put some of the videos I'll find and probably share on the screen. You saw Liberians walking on the highway. Some people would cheer early in the morning. It was dark. Would cheer on the head trying to go and get in the line early to vote. And when I went to every towns, I went to Margibi and every remote area that I saw, I noticed that there were people either walking to the voting centers or people already there getting ready to vote. So it was an overall impressive turnout. However, I do think that something fraudulent happened during the first round. And I can give you some really confidential information about some of the things that have been discovered. There were ballots wherein people actually voted for the candidates, but the votes were not considered because after the use of specialized pen. So the government had specialized ink pen at polling stations that people were using to be able to check off the ballot. And these things are called invisible pen. Yes, how the invisible pen works. You go ahead and you use the invisible pen on the ballot. And after a few minutes, when you go ahead and fold it and put it in the box, the ink disappears. So if you voted for Mr. Cummings and you check off that particular box, and if you happen to use one of those invisible pen, right? What happens is that's considered invalid vote because it disappears, it becomes a blank ballot, right? And it is not accounted for. So we have reasons to believe that a lot of these pens were actually positioned in other areas, other polling centers as well. In addition, some of the ballots that were actually brought at the polling station, some of these candidates, their portion of the ballots, they were strategically created wherein they had invisible linings. So what that means is that particular column that were assigned to specific candidates, you can use even a regular pen. And probably, let's say you're at a polling station, you're not using one of the invisible pen. But if you put a pen and mark it in that particular ballot, once you fill it out and put it in, it takes about a couple of minutes, right? If you come back to that ballot, it will be completely gone. The mark that you put on it will be completely gone, right? Because that ballot was strategically made, right, to be able to, conduct the level of fraud, right, that we saw in the election. So those are some of the facts that we have from preliminary investigation from some of the candidates who have begun doing the research in terms of that. If you notice from the collaborating political parties, part of the request of Mr. Cummings to the National Election Commission that the use ballots, that they be able to turn it over for forensic investigators to be able to examine those ballots. Now, that's something I don't know that the National Election Commissions will do that. Just sensing that people are actually up to speed with what they're doing in terms of electoral fraud, I don't believe that the National Election Commission, will be able to allow those ballots to be turned over because they have something to hide. So those were some of the things that were transpiring throughout election day, and some of the facts that I actually have in terms of the pre-MAC ballots that that we saw in there. So I have a file here, and I want to see if I can share it and give you a little in-depth perspective, right, about this invisible ink and how it works, right? So let me come back to my screen here, and let me go ahead and actually see if I can share, do a presentation. Let me see, upload. Perfect. And so if you look on my screen, I'm about to project something on the screen here that I want you to take a look at. So what you're looking at on the screen is what we call the disappearing ink, right? And it's from Flint Scientific, wherein it gives you the whole logic, the whole science behind how this product works, right? And actually this here, this particular invisible ink, this particular invisible ink, it was discovered that some African countries were using a certain entity to be able to carry on electoral fraud. And I believe one of the entities that were used for the election happens to be one of the companies that the government of Liberia hired to be able to design the ballots and take over the election. So if you see here, you will see the materials that I use, right, to be able to create that product. It will tell you about the procedures and right and how to dispose it, all of the things, right, that are actually done to create that particular magical pen. You understand me, right? So you see, it's magic, it's mystery. No, it is science, right? So it is a certain science that's actually used in terms of that invisible ink. And this was discovered because some African countries that experienced some level of electoral fraud, when the investigation was done by other international partners, they found out that these particular magical pens and ballots were being used in African countries. Places like Sierra Leone, right, was one of the most recent countries that was able to use this kind of magical pen to be able to undermine the democracy of the country. So these particular disappearing ink, where the disappearing ink, these disappearing inks were actually were positioned at different pooling areas across the country. In addition to that, to this disappearing ink, there were special ballots made wherein specific candidates, right, for the first round, specific candidates were actually positioned in those particular boxes, those columns, right, wherein to put the technology, the science there on those ballot papers, so that if you went and you saw Mr. Cummings on this ballot here, and you go ahead and check that particular information, after a couple of minutes and stuff, when you put that particular paper in the seal tub, what's going to happen is the ink will disappear. So when they go ahead and put it up, invalid votes, right? That's why you saw an increment in invalid votes in the election, because these were things that were all orchestrated to be able to give them this kind of advantage when it comes to the election. So those were some of the things that we noticed. Now, based upon what I know, based upon some of the preliminary investigation that's been conducted, I can say with 99% certainty that there are evidences, there are proof of those pen and those ballots positioned in the southeast and other polling stations across the country, including Bond County, for ballots that were actually handed over from other areas that we got access to. We have reason to believe that those particular tools, that those particular things that have actually listed on this particular show tonight were used at those very polling stations to be able to carry on the level of fraud that we saw in round one, right? So what do I expect going forward in the second round? So the first thing here is that whole thing that you saw CDC running around, that the Unity Party brought in an expert, an IT expert, to hack an election, that was all fallacy. Don't fall for it. First of all, this is a manual election. The only people who have the advantage to do anything sinister will be the government of Liberia. They order the ballots, they have the technology, they have the National Election Commissions, so they have all of the tools needed to be able to orchestrate the kind of fraud, right, electoral fraud that needs to. A mere IT specialist does not have that kind of capacity. Now, you can say that you may probably get into next system and be able to get some information, right? But you don't have access to those coded ballots, those ballots with the serial marks, those duplicate ballots that the CDC created with those specialized, ink pen, and even those ballots marked with those kind of special kind of technology to carry on the electoral fraud. You will have access to it. What I think the Unity Party was doing is that it finally understood what was going on, because some of the information that is actually being made visible to the Unity Party. And because it really understood that, look, this is what these guys are up to, we're going to go ahead and get the type of help needed and focus our attention in those areas, right? That we believe that there were letdowns, there were a lot of vulnerable spots that compromised the election or actually compromised our votes in the first round. So they brought an IT specialist to be able to train those voters, those poll watchers, for them to pay attention to some of the things to look for. For instance, there's certain things that you can detect on those particular magical ballots that I talk about. There's certain things that you can detect if those kind of pen are used. Yes, what you need to look for. Yes, what you need to do. Once you get the information, get a snapshot of the particular ballots and send it to us so our data center can be able to analyze the images on those ballots and make the proper determination to see if that particular technology or that pen was actually used on the ballots, including the invalid votes. So those are the things that the Unity Party was actually doing, the IT expert, to be able to beef up the level of pool watching in those vulnerable spots. But here's where it gets tricky. CDC now sees that the Unity Party is probably catch on to some of these things, right? And the reason being is because some of the opposition political parties have already started making those things available to other political parties to show that there was electoral fraud. What CDC is going to do is it's going to attempt still to cheat in those areas that it managed to inflate numbers in. However, now there will be a lot of attention in those vulnerable areas. They'll try to pull moves in some areas that they'll possibly think that people will not be focused on, right? That's where we have to be careful there. So overall, I say this. There are two things happening. Well, you have two political parties that are going into the runoff. Both political parties, right, have their own, thing at stake. But I think the political party that's actually under the most pressure going into the second round would be the CDC. And here's why. The CDC could not win an election, a free and fair election. The CDC potentially would not have made it to the second round in round one had they not cheated. True story being told, right? Now, the CDC understands that if you really want to be truthful, and if we have to be truthful here, right? The political party that possibly had an opportunity to win in the first round would have been the Unity Party. But because they stole the votes of the other political parties, because they were able to make those maneuvers and stuff, it aided them to make this thing as competitive as it came up to be. But the intent was, since we have made it competitive, we'll just close this thing in the first round. CDC really wanted to cheat in the first round to win the election in the first round. But unfortunately, it did not happen. And so here we are now. So in the second round, you will see a lot of those maneuvers. But that's what I said today on my page, that I really give it up to the Unity Party. Love it or hate it, it's nothing personal, because I've seen a lot of efforts from them when it comes to protecting the votes. They're putting the CDC under pressure, and that's what I say, be careful, because going into round two is going to be a different ball game. It is more difficult now on the CDC because they have people who are watching them. It is more difficult because Unity Party has probably catch up to them, and thanks to Alexander Cummings. That's what I said. This is why I asked Unity Party partisans, I said, stop bashing Cummings, because in the end, you will understand that what it did to that man could potentially happen to the Unity Party. But thanks to the stance of Mr. Cummings, who chose neutrality, and some of the information that he was able to uncover, this is the reason why the Unity Party knows that the certain things was actually used in terms of the balance. That's why you see Unity Party making moves and they're actually going after certain areas. It's all because Alexander Cummings started sounding off the alarms, and he was able to do preliminary investigation that discovered or uncovered some of these fraudulent ballots and fraudulent practices in the first round as well. So it's going to be difficult on the CDC, right, in the second round, because what you saw today, like as it is about 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 o'clock. Yeah. So there's about 3 o'clock in the morning in Liberia. 3 o'clock in the morning in Liberia. And we have people from the Unity Party that are already gathering at different polling centers. I got a text just now that people are already waking up in the different counties and marching to polling centers. So it appears that we could potentially see, if not close to what occurred in the first round, but we still could see a significant amount of people showing up today for round two to vote. Because of the importance, the magnitude of this election. You know, so if you're just joining me here, let me say this. On the screen, I was showing you the disappearing ink that was used at the polling centers and why I believe it was important for Liberians to understand, what transpired, how these guys are orchestrating the fraud, the level of fraud, and what the people need to watch out for going into the second round. Let me see here. This is on here. All right. So let's go to an important part here. How did we get here? How did we get here? So about a few weeks ago, when I did my podcast, I think I chronicled some of the happenings, some of the things that I believe occurred when CDC was actually layering their agents into the opposition. Let me say this to you. The first part of that process is what you see, what you witness occur in the first round from the CPP, wherein those agents that were actually hired in the CPP were able to actually make it easy for the CDC to gut the CPP. And I keep saying it, there's still people from the CDC that are still in the Unity Party. And I think over the last few days, there were certain things that were uncovered. But believe it or not, there are still people who are working for CDC layout in the Unity Party. Now, those people were put there to be able to facilitate the fraud, to make sure that it's easier. Hopefully, the Unity Party has done a great job in spotting some of these things and checkmating them. But one thing I really want you all to pay attention to, I asked the question, I said, when CDC cheat, what would the Unity Party do? Because some of these people are positioned. So today, when it's obvious that the government Liberia is cheating, some of these people will be the same people that will come up and try to be softer in terms of the approach and make it seem like, oh, let's just calm down. Let's do. These people are layered for the right moment, because if CDC cheats, some of these people will be used by CDC after they've gotten paid to be able to calm you all down and make sure that the people don't take actions because the votes were compromised. So the Unity Party needs to be very mindful, because right now, going into the general election, I'm saying this to you, right? Right now I'm saying this to you. Trust me, the agents are working. And you have to be very mindful. Your eyes have to be opened. You have to pay attention to some of these people. I told you in the beginning, I said this for years. I told you Costa was compromised. Costa was never truly in the interest of the opposition. Don't be fooled. Don't buy into this whole notion that the people use him and this, that. Don't fall for it. Costa's intent was never to actually be selected as a vice presidential candidate. It was all part of the setup. It was all part of this thing that they needed to do to create a storyline and make it seem as if something was done to them, right? But it was never truthful. They were only there to do one thing, to work for the CDC. The CDC orchestrated a brilliant plan against the opposition. When Costa supported them against Joseph Boyga in 2017, they thought, they said, you know what? We'll come back to election here. You can't continue to be on the side. So go back in the opposition. Let's keep you there. And we'll set up everything to make it seem like there's this bitterness between the government of Liberia and Henry Costa. But at the appropriate time, we'll revert to what we need to do to be able to push the agenda. And that's what you saw with Costa. That's why you saw them. They attack Cummings. He said all the nasty things about Cummings. At that time, our people, they didn't listen. They didn't, when we were telling them, they didn't understand what Costa was doing. They want to destroy. They want to break the first enrichment, because in the minds, right, the opposition, the collaboration should not work. And so the first plan was to completely disrupt it, so that that particular group of people cannot go into election as a one group. So CDC did that successfully. They used the UA, they used the Costa, they used other people planted from different parties and stuff to be able to take over that. That was the intent. That was the focus point. That's how it was set up. It was set up in that way. It was set up. And we said that over and over. So the next phase is, okay, we've already done that, but we still got to follow through. And by following through, we have to make sure we keep this particular bitterness in the opposition to the very end. But we know that we're in the predicament wherein the Liberian people will reject us. We still got to make up for votes. So we'll start with the CPP. We'll go ahead and got Cummings and take Cummings' vote using a fraudulent means, add it to ours, right, to get that particular first round victory. In case that people start noticing that, then we're going to change plan, go in the second round, but go another way as well. That's what you saw with the CDC. That's what the CDC was doing. All of them were setting it up, you know. And this is not only the CPP. This is still the Unity Party. There are people still in the Unity Party today. There are famous faces in the Unity Party that are working for CDC. I will repeat. There are people in the Unity Party as speak. I know for a fact because some of these people are still walking in the dark to meet up with key elements within CDC. I know that. Trust me. Trust me. There are familiar faces in the Unity Party who are still working with the CDC with the intent of helping the George Weah administration to undermine them and to actually steal the election. And I said it before, and it's happening now. I say here today again, mark my words, record this conversation. There are still agents. Fortunately, the past couple of days, Unity Party was able to discover something. Through that discovery, they also found out, right, some other things there. So there are a lot of learning experiences that they're beneficiaries of, because now they're starting to be tipped off and they're starting to be aware of some of these sinister things that are happening on the back end. So CDC set this thing up. The government of Liberia set this thing up. George Weah wanted to do anything to win an election in Liberia. For our one, the CPP, it was very easy. Because we have people amongst us who we thought were team members, but they were gutting us apart. And it made it easy for George Weah. But against the Unity Party, I think it is going to be, it's going to be a difficult, not that they can't do it or they wouldn't do it, but it's going to be difficult because they're looking all around. But I don't know if there's much in terms of resource and capacity to be able to match that. However, I believe there's some things that can be done to be able to actually hold them accountable. You understand me? I'm telling you. Forget about Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. It has nothing to do with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. It has everything to do with the CDC. That's why I said we are missing the mark because we're focused on all the wrong things. It has less to do with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, but more to do with the CDC. That's what it boils down to. That's what it boils down to. There are people right now in the Unity Party that are working with CDC and they're waiting to orchestrate some of the things that I've spoken about against the Unity Party. It is a fact, and we can't overlook that. That's why you have to be very careful. You have to pay attention. You have to make sure that all of your pool watchers are looking for the things that they need to look for to hold them accountable. That those particular sheets, tally sheets, start coming in as early as possible. That before tally sheets start coming in, you're paying attention. When they come and say, oh, there's a valid and invalid vote, that you look at it. When they say, oh, you know, CDC, you want to look at it. All right. You've seen a consistent trend of invalid votes. You have to pay attention to the flow of invalid votes and know that some of those ballots that I just spoke about are included in there. What you want to do, if you come across, you're in a pool watching station and you come across a ballot that's completely blank, do me a favor, request that they hand that ballot. Take the pen that's stationed there, right? And use that ink and just write in that ballot if it's allowable to do that, right? And watch it for 30 minutes and see if that ink does not disappear on that ballot. Watch and see. Just watch and see. Just watch and see. You know, so, you know, these are some of the things that happen in the first round. And these are some of the things that we believe that the CDC is looking to do in the second round. And reason why we need to be very mindful, we have to make sure that you're protecting your votes and you're holding them accountable as well. So there were so many agents from within. All these people, you see them revealing themselves. You see them showing themselves. As if it is cool now, but there's still others who have not revealed themselves, potentially, that will make themselves known. Either by discovery or either because they've actually gotten the aims and objective accomplished, and then they can come up now and actually show their true intent. The true intent. So today is final election day. As I said, I thought I was going to be there 1 hour, 30 minutes, but I'm feeling a little sleepy and I have to go do a sleep that so I can wake up early and start, monitoring the election and stuff, right? So let me see here. Excuse me. So today is election day. And since it is election day, let's look at all, right, that, people will be looking at going forward today. So the first thing to watch out for is the attendance, right? How many people are showing up for election, for the second round? That's the first thing. The second thing here is how well, the Unity Party would be protecting the polling centers. How well would the data centers collect the information? The war room will be able to collect those tally sheets and be able to sound the alarm. How many people will have around a different polling station bystanders as well that will be able to provide support to the people who are in the polling centers? Some polling centers you can actually go there and be able to see inside as well, right? Making sure that in the night when these ballots are being counted, because it's going to go down to midnight. So in the night when these ballots are being counted, to make sure you have the proper lighting, that you have your people paying attention to what they need to pay attention to. Make sure the war room, the data center, people around are reaching out to those who are poll watchers and giving them to up-to-date information that they're receiving. So if there's some trend that you see at a particular polling station, you want to feed that to a second polling station, to all of your people, to let them know that, look, this is unfolding. Make sure you're watching out, or letting your people know that, look, if you notice this, send this back to us and let us take a look at it and make sure that, all of us are working together. But, look, it is not about, if CDC is going to cheat. CDC will cheat. CDC will do everything to rig that election. It's a fact. Who doesn't know? CDC will do it. CDC will do it. Now, if it works, that's a different story. It is different to come and say you want to cheat, but if that particular strategy will work, that's another story, right? Will it work? You can try to cheat, but making sure that that particular strategy will work is a whole different thing. And the two political parties understand each other, because the party is from a ruling party. They've been through election. They understand how these things work and stuff. Same with CDC, who's now there, but they're less sophisticated, to tell you the truth. CDC is actually not most sophisticated when it comes to fraudulent election, because just the one they put off in the first round was just so obvious. And I think there'll be a lot of different backlash that will come from that particular electoral fraud in the first round there. So those are the things that the Unity Party will have to be watching for. Those are the things that they will have to pay attention to make sure that they're protecting the votes and everything. But today is an interesting day, by all means. I think it's an opportunity for the Liberian people to decide where they want the country to go. You understand me? Job, good evening. Right? But in the end, it is about two things, right? We either have one of the two political parties, will emerge victorious, and possibly in a good way, or we'll run into a situation wherein the cheating will be so obvious and the other political parties can actually take a stance on that. But either ways, as I stated, I expect this election to be fraudulent again. I expect the George Weah administration to continue to do what they need to do, to rig the election. Now, I don't expect Unity Party to be a pushover, because I think they have sufficient information to make proper determination and to be able to protect the votes. I do believe that in the end, the CDC going into this election are the most pressure because they have to win by cheating. And I keep saying, I'll continue to say, CDC will have to win by cheating. That's the only way CDC can win this election. And I'm being truthful. I'm not trying to be somebody that just talk. CDC can only win this election by cheating. In a free, fair election, CDC should not even be in the second round. In a free election wherein nothing's been manipulated, CDC does not stand a chance. It is a fact because I know what I saw across the country. That's why you see they are reacting. That's why you see they are arresting people. That's how you see that they're responding to certain areas that's been actually flooded with, with people to stop, the balance from being moved. That's why you see they're reacting. So in the end, I think we'll have a very interesting day. Yes, we pray for peace and stability and nothing crazy and stuff. But these are elections where emotions are running high, and people are at the point where they're fed up. They're going to exercise the franchise. They're going to exercise the rights to vote. And so, if there's anything that shows wherein that particular right is being jeopardized because of the intentional actions of a government that does not have the support of the people, I'm afraid that's not going to be the right way to proceed, and it's probably going to cause some problems, in terms of electoral integrity and what have you. But look, in the end, I do believe that these elections are very, very critical. It is not time to estimate any political party. For instance, we can be so overconfident about certain things. But I will tell you this, though. I think the two political parties, there will be a showdown in Liberia today, I must say. And hopefully we'll start getting some of those results as they become available from different polling stations. I will have access to some of those preliminary results from the different polling station because people in the polling station will be supplying me with that information. I will try my best to be able to do that, to be able to start leaking them out and put them out there. Hopefully, from the maybe early after, maybe at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Well, the police station closed at 6. So maybe around that time, you should start having preliminary results in terms of the outcome of the election. But I just wanted to hop on tonight to talk about some of the things that I said before in terms of the fraud, to specifically speak to this particular magical pen that was used to steal the Liberian people votes. And we understand there's a significant portion of those ballots that are used. The other day, I was notified that actually, the seal, some of those ballot bins, seals and stuff, CC had duplicates of some of those things. Even the ballots, they had duplicate ballots and stuff, pre-map ballots stationed all over the areas and stuff that they were moving it. So when you hear about situation where pre-map ballots are being moved, trust me, it is true. It is not a lie at all because these people are on top of the game and they're putting that information there. But in the end, I wish the Liberian people a good, a second round, and I hope that they can, get the results that they're looking for in terms of the future. But I expect for today to be a very tense day. I do think it will be very, very tense, because the stakes are high. The lot riding on to the second round, and I think that's what's going to happen. Now, how the Unity Party approach this going forward over the next few hours. That's something that we're yet to see. But I'm looking forward to see how that unfolds and some of the things that that's actually put out there in terms of information sharing, in terms of all of the necessary things that are needed to be able to provide clarity to the Liberian people. So in the end, I think that we have a unique opportunity here, and that unique opportunity starts with those who are going to vote and making the right decision. Hopefully today is the day that we get to see something contrary. But yeah, so this one I just wanted to just hop on to just talk about. Expect CDC to push a fraudulent election. Keep your eyes open for people who still work for the CDC and are positioned in the Unity Party. Make sure that you're checking on those poll watchers. Make sure that you have people around the polling centers that are paying attention, that are looking in the room, that are peeking and making sure the things right. When you have one poll watcher going to the restroom, and the second one is left behind. Make sure that people are looking right at all of those things. That's the kind of thing that they have to do to put more pressure on the government to stop them from actually cheating, and protecting the votes. But at the end of the day, it is going to be left with the kind of mechanisms that are being put in place and how they're executing on their part. But in the end, like I said, CDC will try. They will try to do everything to take away the election. How the Unity Party respond is going to be a separate conversation. But I expect that in the end, hopefully, the Liberian people and their interests will be protected in this election. But yeah, so my people, that's what I had to say today. I wanted to cover that magical ink, the disappearing ink that was used at the polling stations in round one. Even the ballots with certain specific candidates, wherein their portion of the ballots were actually, loaded with layers of deceptive things, that took away from those particular candidates. So those sheets were actually created in a strategic way to be able to rob people to vote. You go, you check off a box or put the correction mark in a certain box, and then you take that ballot, you fold it, and then throw it in the bin. But only to know that that ballot turns out to be one of the ballots that's actually marked with invisible ink, and then that vote is not accounted for. So let the Liberian people continue to pay attention. Hopefully, in the morning, I intend to go live, and I will actually have somebody in Liberia that will be going to different polling stations come on live with me to be able to show you the optics, the happenings of what's going on the ground, the different images, the different conversations that's being held across the country and people in the polling station. So early in the morning, I'm looking forward to getting in touch with that person. They will have access to this account. They'll go live from it. They'll be able to stream some things and show some things. So follow my page as as we are prepared for the second round. So, anyways, my people, I mean, it was a good evening just having the conversation. I get it tired now, and I'll be back on here early in the morning, so so we can be able to talk. We can be able to talk further. But overall, I think we have a good day today. Whatever that good day leads to, that's a different story to talk about. But I believe in the end, the Liberian people, will show up to vote, and hopefully, that's going to be the sign or sound of something bigger as well. So, on that note, you have a good night. Okay, it has been a great time, and let me go ahead and end with this.
Let's dance in style, let's dance
for a while.
Heaven can wait, we're only watching the skies. Hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. Are you gonna drop the bomb or not? Let us die young or let us live forever. We don't have the power, but we never say never. Sitting in a sandpit, life is a short trip. The music's for the sad man. Forever young, I wanna be
Forever young. Do you really want to live forever?
forever and ever.
Forever young. I wanna be forever young.
Be the worst of tomorrow.
Do you really want to live
Forever, forever.
So we living life like a video.
We living life like a video. The Liberian people are living life. Today is the main day in Liberia. We're getting ready for showdown election day. If you're getting ready to go to the polling station, we say make sure you move around safe. We hope that the Liberian people can get what they deserve in terms of the election today. We pray for peace, transparency, and an end to a process that's been marred by various corruption. In the end, I know the Liberian people will win. So you have a good night, my people. My name is Duke. I really love talking business. I love Liberia, man. I love our Liberian people. Let's always do the right thing to stand for the Liberian people. If everything goes well, I expect to see at the end of the George Weah administration. Worst case scenario, the only thing that can happen is that people continue to undermine the integrity of our democracy. But regardless, though, I will always say it. I'm happy that I stood for the most competent candidate in this election. I'm happy that I stood with the best candidate in this election, the only person capable of changing Liberia. And that vote that I submitted for Mr. Cummings is something that I feel proud of. In the end, I know that we will get the Liberia that we're looking for one of these days. On that note, you have a good day, my people. We see you tomorrow on election day. I'll be live again to be able to bring some sort of conversation from on ground, get people to hop on with me to be able to tell you exactly what they're seeing across different polling stations. If you want to connect with me for us to be able to get some things done, holler at me, send me a message in my inbox. But I would definitely want to have people out there so we're talking, we're getting some things done. On that note, you have a good night. I want to say thank you. Forever Young, man, and Jay-Z. One of my favorite music, man. I love this song. You have a good day, my people.
Slamming Bentley doors, hopping out of Porsches, popping up on Forbes list, gorgeous. Hold up, thought I lost it. They be talking, I be talking more. They nauseous. Hold up, I'll be here forever. You know I'm on my fourth. I ain't with foreclosure. I will never forfeit. Less than 4 bars. Google, bring the chorus in. Did you get the picture yet? I'm painting you a portrait of young.
Forever young, I wanna be forever young, forever young. Do you really want to live forever, forever, forever young?
Some people live for the fortune. Some people live just for the fame. Some people live for the power, yeah.
Some people live just to play the game.
Some people think,
yeah, man. Alicia Keys.
Define what's within, and I've been there before. That life's a bore, so full of the superficial. Some people want it all, but I don't want nothing at all. If it ain't you, baby, if I ain't got you, baby. Some people want diamond rings, some just want everything, but everything means nothing if I ain't got you. Yeah. Some people search for a fountain. Promise is forever young. You know, some people need 3 dozen roses, and that's the only way to prove you love them. Hand me the world
On a silver platter.
and words.
Music makes the body move. Music makes mountains move. And that's the beautiful Alicia Keys. And this is your boy, Dude. And this was a little short podcast, but I'll be back again tomorrow. And we'll give you happenings, all of the currencies. We intend to give you all the information, all the G's, as Liberia goes to vote.
Diamond rings, some just want everything, but everything means nothing if I ain't got you. Some people want it all, but I don't want nothing at all. If it ain't you, baby, if I ain't got you, baby. Some people want diamond
finna set it off in this motherfucker. You heard me? I'm finna put you the trash can, the dump. I'm tired of all you set it off. Y'all annoying me right now, for real. You wanna talk, you wanna run your mouth, you want some gangs to stretch your mother out. We'll set this out, set this dog. We'll set this dog, set this. Let's get these out, mind right. They call me bad, and I punish you. You ain't my equal, we ain't people, I ain't one of you. Since 98, I grabbed my plate up off the lunch table. I told mom I'm thugging outside, we don't need cable. Now
man, listening. This one is dedicated to the memory of Seattle. I intend to this week to have a little thing on my page. I've been running away from that, but you know we can't, and so it's a sad day for all of us.
How could it be that our sweet memories would be all that we have left? Now that you're gone, every day I go on, but life's just not the same. I'm so empty inside, and my tears I can't hide. But I'll try to face the pain, though I'm missing you. I'll find a way to get through.
Rest in peace, Seattle.
Living without you, 'cause you were my sister, my strength, and my ground. Only God may know why. Still, I will get by.
There were so many things that we could have shared. If time was on our side. Ooh, yeah. Now that you're gone, I can still feel you near. So I'll smile with every tear I cry. Though I'm missing you, I'll find a way to go through. Living without you, you are my sister, my strength and my pride. Only God may know why. Still I will get by. We were the closest of friends, but I wait for the day when I'll see you again. See you again. But I'll find a way to get through. Living without you. You are my sister, and my pride. Only God may know why. I will get by. I'm missing you. I'll find a way. But you are my sister, my strength and my pride. Only God may know why. Still I will get by. Missing you. Oh yes I am. I'm missing you.
Everyone falls in love sometimes. Sometimes it's wrong, and sometimes it's right. For every win, someone When we exhale, yeah, yeah. Say shoot, 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 baby. Do shoot. All you gotta do is say shoot, baby. Shoot, baby. My love now. Sometimes you laugh, sometimes you cry. Life never tells us the winds are wise. When you've got friends to wish you well, you'll find a point when you will exhale, yeah, yeah. Say shoot, 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 baby, baby, shoot, 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 baby, shoot, shoot, baby, shoot, baby, shoot, baby. Say shoot, say shoot, say shoot, baby, say shoot, say shoot, baby, shoot. They do. Oh, hearts are often broken when there are words unspoken. In your soul, there's answers to your prayers. If you're searching for a place, you know, a familiar face, somewhere to go, you should look inside your soul. You're halfway there. Sometimes you laugh, sometimes you cry. Life never tells us the winds are wise. But when you've got friends to wish you well, you'll find your point when you will exhale. Say shoot back. Shoot back, shoot back, shoot back, shoot back, shoot back, do shoot back, feels alright. You can say, oh, shoot back. Everyone falls in love sometimes. Sometimes it's wrong, and sometimes it's right. For every win, someone must fail. But there comes a point when we exhale, yeah, yeah. Say shoot. Shoot, shoot, baby, do shoot, shoot. All you gotta do is say, shoot, baby, shoot, baby, shoot, my love now. Sometimes you laugh, sometimes you cry. Life never tells us the winds are wise. When you've got friends to wish you well, you'll find a point when you will exhale, yeah, yeah. Say shoot, 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 baby, shoot, 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 baby, shoot, shoot, baby, shoot, baby, shoot, say shoot, say shoot, say shoot, baby, say shoot, say shoot, baby, shoot, they do. Oh, hearts are often broken when there are words unspoken. time to cry. Life never tells us the winds are wise, but when you got friends to wish you well, you'll find your point when you will exhale. Say, shoot back, shoot back, shoot back, shoot back, shoot back, shoot back. Do shoot back, feels alright. You can say, oh, shoot back. Everyone falls in love sometimes. Sometimes it's wrong, and sometimes it's right. For every win, someone must fail. But there comes a point when we exhale, yeah. Say, shoot, baby, do, shoot. All you gotta do is say, shoot, baby, shoot, baby, my love now. Sometimes you lie, sometimes you cry. Life never tells us the winds are wise. When you've got friends to wish you well, you'll find a point when you will exhale, yeah. Say, shoot, baby, baby, shoot, baby, say shoot, say shoot, say shoot, baby, say shoot, say shoot, baby, shoot, they do. Oh, hearts are often broken when there are words unspoken. In your soul there's answers to your prayers. If you're searching for a place you know, a familiar face, somewhere to go, you should look inside your soul. You're halfway there. Sometimes you lie, sometimes you cry. Life never tells us the winds are wise, but when you got friends to wish you well, you'll find your point when you will exhale. Say, shoot back, shoot back, shoot back, shoot back, shoot back, shoot back. Do shoot back, feels alright. You can say, oh, shoot back. Everyone falls in love sometimes. Sometimes it's wrong, and sometimes it's right. For every win, someone must fail. But there comes a point when we exhale, yeah. Say, shoot, baby, do, you gotta do is say, shoo-ba-doo, 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 my love now. Sometimes you laugh, sometimes you cry. Life never tells us the winds are wise. When you've got friends to wish you well, you'll find a point when you will exhale, yeah. Say shoo, shoo, shoo-ba-doo, baby, shoo, 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 shoo-ba, shoo-ba, shoo, say shoo, say shoo, say shoo-ba, say shoo, say shoo-ba, shoo, they do. Oh, hearts are often broken when there are words unspoken. In your soul there's answers to your prayers. If you're searching for a place, you know, a familiar face, somewhere to go, you should look inside your soul. You're halfway there. Sometimes you laugh, sometimes you cry. Life never tells us the winds are wise. But when you got friends to wish you well, you'll find your point when you will exhale. Say shoot back, shoot back, shoot back, shoot back, shoot back, shoot back, do shoot back, feels alright. You can say, oh, shoot back. Everyone falls in love sometimes. Sometimes it's wrong, and sometimes it's right. For every win, someone must fail. But there comes a point when we exhale, yeah. Say shoot, 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 baby, do shoot, shoot, shoot. All you gotta do is say shoot, baby, shoot, baby, shoot, shoot, my love now. Sometimes you laugh, sometimes you cry. Life never tells us the winds are wise. When you've got friends to wish you well, you'll find a point when you will exhale, yeah. Say shoot, shoot, shoo-ba-doo, baby, shoot, 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 shoot-ba, shoot-ba, shoot, say shoot, say shoot, say shoot-ba, say shoot, say shoot-ba, shoot, they do. Oh, hearts are often broken when there are words unspoken. In your soul there's answers to your prayers. If you're searching for a place, you know, a familiar face, somewhere to go, you should Sometimes you cry. Life never tells us the winds are wild. But when you got friends to wish you well, you'll find your point when you will exhale. Say, shoot back, shoot back, shoot back, shoot back, shoot back, shoot back. Do shoot back, feels alright. You can say, oh, shoot back. Everyone falls.